Our NRL season countdown continues. We are convening a morning show boardroom session, and today we're joined by the Rabbitohs CEO, Blake Solly. G'day, Blake. Happy New Year, even though we're 28 days in.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys and all the listeners. It feels like that was some time ago. Everyone here's been back since the 6th of January, so we're really looking forward to getting the season started now that the tennis and largely the cricket's out of the way.
Okay, we've been asking our listeners throughout the course of the morning, mate, to send in some questions for you. So I will get to those and some very specific South Sydney questions, obviously, but a top-line perspective from this time last year to right now, there must be some big changes. Why will the 2025 Rabbitohs, in your opinion, be better than the 2024 Bunnies?
Yeah, it's funny. I was reflecting this morning with Dave, who's the Broncos CEO, about the difference in the two clubs. This time last year, we were busily preparing to get ready for Las Vegas and all of the challenges that the first year and that first game presented compared to this year, where we've been able to have a fairly consistent off-season with minimal disruption. Obviously, welcoming Wayne back was a great boost because we've worked with Wayne before. We know what he brings, and the consistency and calm that he instills in the football department and the players has been great. And as I said, it's been very calm and very consistent in this pre-season without some of those disruptions or distractions, and we're just looking forward now to the players being able to get on the field and show the benefits of how smooth that pre-season's been.
You just touched on one of the big names and probably the two words that most will go for when asked the question why you'll be different this year to last year, and that's Wayne Bennett. But, of course, the other name is Latrell Mitchell. So just give us your snapshot, and I guess, Blake, over the off-season you've been asked this, you'll be asked it again in the lead-up to round one, the impact that Benny's had since he's come back and the position at the moment that you see Latrell Mitchell in.
Yeah, I think in terms of Wayne, we've had 3 years with him before, and in some ways he's had 3 years with us. So in terms of embedding or onboarding a new head coach, it couldn't be any easier because he's coached most of the players here. He's worked with most of the staff. He knows the culture of the club. He knows what we stand for. So that was a relief in some ways because from May, when we announced him coming, we spent the last 6 months of the season really preparing for Wayne to arrive and ensuring that the staff were in place and the facilities and the program was in place. So that's been great. He's come back. He's, I think, been pretty direct with the players about what he thought we were lacking in the last couple of seasons and the sacrifices that they had to make to get us back to the top of the table. And I think you can see from the fitness of the players and the body shape and just their mentality around the building that they've taken that on board. And none more so than Latrell. I think Latrell's challenges towards the back end of last year were pretty public, and he's taken that as probably almost the wake-up call that he needed to concentrate on his family and his own fitness and make sure that he started the pre-season in the best possible shape, and credit to him. He's been wonderful. He's led a lot of the drills. You can see from photos of him just how fit he is, and for him now I think it's preparing himself as best he can for his first game of the season.
What about taking a further, if there is such a thing, a further leadership role in the club for Latrell? Obviously, there was the physical side there, and that hard work sounds as though it's gone in. Is Latrell ready to step up even more in 2025? And is that a really important part for you? Does he need to have a good season and be a positive influence on the squad for you to have a positive season?
Yeah, I think all our senior leaders need to have that influence on the rest of the squad and on the club. I think each of them at times have shown that. There were periods of last season where Latrell was fit and healthy, particularly that middle part of the season, and he, Jack and Cody and Cameron, we won 6 out of 7 games, I think. We're almost unstoppable. So I think all of the club hopes that we can keep them all on the field for the whole of the season, and that they have that influence, because when we were at our best last season and we had something like our best team on the field, we were capable of beating anyone. And I think if we can do that again, hopefully with the return of Campbell and Junior playing a lot more footy this season with some of the young guys that were exposed at the end of last season to a lot more first grade than we ever thought they would be, we've got a pretty compelling team, and a team that's going to threaten, hopefully, to win a premiership.
Just back on the Wayne Bennett factor, culturally, obviously, some things were going to change, and you just elaborated on those. But practically as well, has anything changed having Benny back in the building, essentially? Has the loud music stopped in certain quarters? Has it changed the coffee schedule? Is there a practical change that you've noticed having Wayne there?
No, the loud music is still there, but there's probably a bit more Roy Orbison on the playlist than there was 12 months ago. One of the great things that anyone who's worked with Wayne, though, he doesn't try and reinvent the wheel. He's got a system and a structure and a process that works. Luckily, most of us have worked with that before, so we know how to make sure that he can get the best out of it. And I think over the long history he's had in the game, he's shown that he gets the best out of players by treating them as individuals, making sure that they're fully committed to the team and I suppose the discipline that any successful team would have, and then having a bit of fun with them. That's one of Wayne's great, I suppose, secrets, or one of the things that he ensures that for the players and the staff turning up to work every day, there's a little bit of fun involved. You have to do the hard work, but you need a bit of fun as well to do it, because it can be a grind, particularly at this time of year. The players are training very hard in the gym and on the field, and they need to do that to make sure that they have success, but they also need to come to work with a smile on their face.
Yeah, the grind that you talk about, we haven't started, mate. We're still a long way off. So the 2nd of March, obviously, it starts over there in Vegas, and then you'll have your first home match against the Dolphins, of course, which is where Wayne's come from. You don't get your first home game until round 4 at a core stadium. So can I lead to one of our listeners' questions? It's a double banger, and part of it is about the home, but the first part is, when will Souths get an NRLW side? And the second part is, are you looking and would you move to Allianz Stadium?
Yeah, in terms of an NRLW team, we're really keen to ensure that we're the next cab off the rank when the competition expands again. We run full girls and women's pathways here at the club and have always done so. Hopefully whenever the NRL decides that it's time to expand from the current teams in the competition, we want to be in it. We've got a purpose-built facility here at Heffron with women's facilities, so we think from a facility point of view, we're ready to go. From a pathways point of view, we're ready to go, so we just need the nod from the NRL. In terms of stadia, we've been pretty consistent now for a long period of time. We want to stay at a core, provided that the government and Venues New South Wales deliver on their commitment to invest into a core. If the government, for whatever reason, doesn't want to, and we accept that it may not fit with their spending priorities, budgets are stretched, there's cost of living issues, but if they're not going to invest in a core, that we'd like to move to Allianz, where the government has invested $1 billion in creating a fan experience that's fantastic. So we'll be patient. We're working with Venues New South Wales. We're listening to the government, but at some stage they're going to have to make a decision on the future of a core, and hopefully when they do that, they'll make a decision on our future. We want a long-term home. We've been at the core for a long period of time, but likewise I think we'd like our next deal with Venues New South Wales or the government to be a 25-year deal, not a 5 or 10 or 15-year deal. Is
that a time frame that's governed by the government, or is that a time frame that you would like to put in place?
It's a time frame that's governed by the New South Wales government. I think we've been very patient with them. We understand that they've got 1 million different spending priorities and 1 million different priorities, so these aren't decisions that they can rush to. I know they've got a pretty strong bid in to try and get, I think, the cream of the crop when it comes to the Rugby Union World Cup games in 2027, which will probably mean there'll have to be some investment in stadia. So we're happy to continue those discussions. Venues New South Wales, Kerry and David have been really supportive. So we can be patient, but we just need a long-term plan for either a core or where we're going to play if there's no appetite to invest the money that a core needs. It's a great stadium, but it's getting up for 30 years old now. So it just needs a really strong renovation and refurbishment program to make sure that it keeps pace with all the other stadium that our fans and members go to. They go to CommBank, they go to Allianz, they go to other stadiums in other states, and they want a fan experience, and our corporates want an experience that matches what they get when they go to the other stadia. Okay, a couple of fans have got a request or two for a few injury updates. Can you give us an injury update on Alex Johnston? Darren wants to know how he is tracking for round 1, and Shane would love to know about Cam Murray and Cody Walker when they're due back. Sure. So Alex, his recovery has been really good from that Achilles tear he suffered in the game against Canberra. He's probably touch and go as to whether he'll be back by round 1, but he's meeting every single marker that we would expect him to. Having spoken to Alex, he's very keen to get back on the field. He's within striking distance of that try-scoring record, so no one's keener to get back on the field and start scoring some tries than Alex. So if he's not back for round 1, he'll be back pretty soon thereafter if he continues to recover at the pace he has since he had the surgery. Cameron, again, Cameron had a pretty significant surgery after that injury sustained with the Kangaroos. He's doing a lot of training. He's not doing any contact, but he's itching to get back on the field again. I think Cameron would love to be back, if not for round one, as soon after round one as possible. And again, his recovery has been exceptional. I think now it's all about getting range of movement back into that wrist to make sure he's ready to play. And then Cody should be back on the field certainly for round one. He had a slight knee surgery at the end of the season, but he's been running. And I think looking at Cody, I don't think I've ever seen him fitter and ready to go. So hopefully he's back on the field for round one as well.
On the signings front, Deke has sent us through a question wanting to know when you're going to sign a big mobile prop. And I guess further to that is, where are you at with your top 30 and what space have you got? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think we're at 27 of our top 30 signed. We usually start the season with 28 of the top 30 signed, so we try and keep a few spots and space available to see what happens during the season. I think it's a slight mythology about us needing a big middle. I think obviously Junior Totola missed most of last season and he should be back. If not for round one, very soon thereafter. Davey Mawali is growing in terms of his presence as a front row forward. We've got Sean Kepi, Jai Arrow, a number of other players who can play middle. So I think we've got a four-pack that would be the envy of most others in the competition. When you look at Keon, Cameron, Ewan Aiken, there's a lot of depth. Josh Schuster as well will be competing for a spot in it. So for us, I think we're pretty confident, not only in the forward depth, but our depth generally. And we'll wait and see. We'll keep that spot and space, cup space available for as long as we can, and see if there's anything that we can nab as an opportunity to bring in some more depth as the season goes on.
All right, a couple more if you're cool with that, Blake. Yep. Steve over in Perth listens to us regularly. First of all, his 8-year-old son wants to know why Jai Arrow isn't in the calendar, the 2025 calendar, but also wants to know, when you go to Perth, will you be doing an open training session over there?
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing an open training session while we're there. I suspect Jai may not have been in the calendar. It would have depended on his haircut, I think, at the time that the calendar was taken. If he had that disastrous mullet that he sometimes has, we probably didn't put him in it. If he had the haircut he had today at training, I'm sure he would have been in there. So that's probably why it might have been a result of one of Jai's haircut decisions. But no, Jai's a really valuable member of the squad. So we'll have to make sure he's in the calendar for 2026.
I was going to say a couple more, but just bear with me because they come in thick and fast. Lewis Dodd and somebody that you just mentioned there, Josh Schuster as well.
Yeah, Lewis has settled in really well. I think on a day like today, he's probably asking himself whether it was the right decision to move from the UK. You don't get too many 38-degree days in St Helens or Widnes where he's from. But Lewis is loving it here. He's settled in well. His girlfriend will arrive and join him in the next few weeks, which is great. I think it says a lot about Lewis's appetite and willingness to test himself that he would leave what was a pretty secure role in a great team at St Helens to try himself in the NRL, and that's a testament to his ambition and the contribution he thinks he can make to the club. So we're looking forward to seeing Lewis on the field. And then Josh Schuster as well. Obviously, we're fortunate to pick a player of Josh's calibre up. It's a great opportunity here for him under Wayne, I think, to prove to the rugby league public the talent he's got and what he can do on the footy field. So for him, it's about taking those opportunities that he's going to get here this season and hopefully earn himself either a long-term deal here or I think mostly proving to the public and himself what he can achieve on the footy field.
Okay, and the last one comes from Tommy from Bondi. As a member, a Diamond member, just wants to know the scenario around the 1908 club, so something new for this season, and could you explain how that works and also how it works for existing long-term top-tier members? Is it something outside of their membership package, or do they get a discount, for instance, to buy into it?
Yeah, so 1908 membership is a special class of membership that we have. It's probably an upgrade from the Diamond membership. It carries with it not only tickets to games, but some inner sanctum experiences. So a number of the Club 1908 members were here last week getting their photo with the team. Also includes some tickets to our end of season presentation evening and also the season launch. So it's a bit different to the Diamond membership. It's a little bit more expensive, but it has some inner sanctum experiences and some tickets to some of our corporate events as well. So I'd encourage any Diamond member who's interested in it to give the club a call and see what an upgrade looks like and join what is a really, really enjoyable and good fun membership.
Awesome. You've been really generous with your time, mate, and we appreciate that. And it shows just, of course, where the Bunnies are at and how invested your fans are. I could keep going with the amount of questions, but we've all got the clock ticking on us. So thanks so much for that, Blake. Obviously, we'll speak throughout the season. Best of luck in the run-up to it.
No, thank you. And I'd encourage any of those members who've asked you questions to contact here or email us, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can.
Good man. Thanks, Blake. Blake Solly joining us there in the Morning Show boardroom this morning.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.